under the guidance of Dr. Castro, which has been approved by the Royal Society of Chemistry. She had also contributed briefly to a neurotech startup as a research executive and had guided their research ideology with strong implementation of practicality in the real world. Her talk would be inflammatory response in pregnancy loss. Over to you, Tanya Singh.
Hello, sir. Thank you for the introduction. I hope I'm audible.
Yeah.
Okay. I shall share my screen. Just let me know when it's visible. Is it visible?
Yeah, now it's fine.
Okay.
Can you make it full screen?
It is on full screen. Is it not?
Yeah.
Okay. So, hello everyone, distinguished guests, fellow researchers, and respected organizers. I would like to take this opportunity to thank each one of you for joining us today. The Studying Science and Molecular Biology webinar 2021. I think it is a great opportunity for all of us to be a part of such an informative session, especially considering the tough times we are in and that has imposed so many restrictions for us. So, well, I firmly believe that any step taken which is capable of bringing an impactful change in our society is a step worth taking. And I feel humbled to be presenting a topic that I firmly believe, if dealt with an innovative plan, shall actually enable us to learn more and more and also help us in implementing the knowledge thus gained. So today I will be talking on inflammatory response in pregnancy loss. The frequency of pregnancy loss, as you can see, is notable in our country, and we also not deny various physical challenges. We attempt to assess some of those underlying factors behind it. Miscarriage is a term used to describe a pregnancy loss from natural causes before 20. Lead campaign of tissue. Now, having said that, loss of pregnancy after the 20th week of pregnancy is stillbirth. In majority of cases, the reason behind goes noticed and unseen. Many health conditions that can contribute to this stillbirth include chromosomal abnormalities, placental problems, and poor fetal growth. Let's look at it at the molecular level. Defective placentation is mainly characterized by a thinner and fragmented trophoblast cell, reduced fibroblast, invasion of the endometrium, and incomplete plugging of the lumen at the tips of the spiral artery. Now, this leads to the absence of physiological changes in the spiral arteries, premature onset of maternal circulation throughout the entire placenta. The in vivo and in vitro investigations have shown that during the first trimester of normal human pregnancy, the placenta limits rather than facilitates oxygen supply to the fetus during organogenesis. Now, this is a very, very well-controlled phenomena, and it has, it provides us a delicate balance between the fetal metabolic needs and its placenta and the potential danger of the oxidative stress. Now, consequently, I want all of you to have a look at this graph where we can see the successful pregnancy loss, and with great chromosomal rearrangements of POC. It's a graph that assesses and compares the same. Now, consequently, in early pregnancy failure, the excessive entry of maternal blood into the intravillous space has two main effects on the fetus and the placenta. The first effect is its direct mechanical effect on the villus tissue, which becomes enmeshed inside the large intervillous blood thrombi. The second effect is the widespread indirect oxygen-mediated trophoblastic damage, and it increases apoptosis. Now, this mechanism possibly occurs in all miscarriages with the time at which it occurs in the first trimester, depending on the etiology. Now, it has been proposed that there are various reasons, and we'll be talking about two. The primary and secondary causes of oxidative stress leading to early pregnancy failure. Now, the primary causes are mainly chromosomal abnormalities, which are found in at least 50% of miscarriages and are usually associated with abnormal trophoblast invasion of the uterine deciduous. Now, when we talk about the secondary causes, they involve maternal leukocytes and other immune factors, including cytokines. such as tumor necrosis factor alpha, TNF alpha as it's called. However, so far, their role in the trophoblast decidual interaction in normal and abnormal first trimester, it remains unclear. Now, let's pay attention to this diagram where we can see a pre-ovulation and post-ovulation diagrams of the endometrial lining and the post-pregnancy changes that will take. Here is the senescent decidua impaired embryo biosensing. Previous studies in the humans, they have provided evidence for an increase in the TH1 or TH2 ratio miscarriages. In contrast, peripheral blood mononuclear cells or the PBMCs as it's have been shown to secrete higher levels of TH1 cytokines and lower levels of TH2 cytokines. Now, in the first trimester, pregnant women with normal outcome compared with women with spontaneous marriage or miscarriage or a history of pregnant miscarriage who subsequently miscarried cytokines, they have been measured, including interleukin IL-2 factors, TNF alpha A and beta, interferon gamma, IFN gamma, and TH2 cytokines. Now they include IL-4, IL-5, IL-6, and IL-10. Although similar methods, they have also been assessed to estimate circulating and intracellular cytokine levels and cytometry of culture PBMCs or whole blood. And there are conflicting reports in the literature about the state of the systematic inflammation in early pregnancy loss, warranting further investigation. Now, finally, recurrent pregnancy loss or the RPL is a serious complication of pregnancy with the frequency of 1 to 5% among the most fertile couples trying to conceive. Now, RPL or the recurrent pregnancy loss is defined as the occurrence of 2 or 3 or more consecutive pregnancy losses prior to the 20th week of gestation in reproductive age. This RPL is a genetically heterogeneous condition resulting from both maternal and embryonic regulating factors, along with some known causes such as the chromosomal abnormalities, metabolic disorders, anatomical anomalies of uterus, and immunological factors. The etiology in approximately 50% of this RPL cases, they remain unknown. Unknown, or also known as the idiopathic recurrent pregnancy losses, which might be explained by several immunological factors. Therefore, the objective of this study is to investigate pro and post-inflammatory cytokines and soluble receptors and concentrations that are involved in this miscarriages. The trend is that. Thank you.